everybody, Happy New Year. Welcome back to my channel. Today's class is just a fun flow. It's designed for all levels. There will be options to challenge yourself or just take it easy. We're gonna start right away with some movement, so we'll actually get started in a downward facing dog. You don't need any props for this class, so I'll see you on your mat when you're ready. So your downward facing dog is just an upside down V shape. You want to make sure that your foundation is strong. So your fingers are spread nice and wide and you're really pressing into the pads of the fingers, especially on the thumb and the index finger. Your toes are pressing down into the mat and your heels are reaching down to the ground even if they don't touch. So don't worry about that connection being present. And then bend your knees as much as you need to make this comfortable, to really reach your hips up to the sky and find length in the entire back body, especially that spine. Just breathe here. Let your chest sink down towards your thighs. Find movement if that would feel good. And if it doesn't feel right in your body to be in downward facing dog just yet, you can always come down to a tabletop position. You can find some movement here. You can do some cat-cows, whatever feels best in your body. I'm gonna start right here in downward facing dog. Just finding my breath. Noticing where there might be tension or tightness in the body. That might be a lot of places if you're doing this practice early in the morning or in the midst of a stressful day. And try and meet that tension in the body with curiosity instead of frustration. Notice what it is and where it is, and just let it be. Remember, you have to let it come to the surface in order to let it go. Once you've found some movement or a couple breaths in stillness, we'll start to sync up our movement with our breath. So each time you inhale, come up to your tippy toes, breathe into the belly, the chest, and the lungs. And then when you exhale through the nose or through the mouth, whatever feels better, just sink your heels down towards the ground. Remember, they don't have to touch. Again, inhale up to the tippy toes. Exhale, sink the heels toward the ground. Again, knees can be bent. You'll feel the calves lengthen either way. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, sink down. Some cracking in the ankles is fine. Keep going, just moving with your breath. Each time you exhale, finding a little bit more length in the back of the legs. One more time here before we settle into stillness. Just find a moment of stillness in your downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Fill the lungs up with air. And as you exhale, let it out through the mouth. Bring the big toes to touch and just gently lift the right leg up to the sky. Don't worry about getting it too high. Just keep it at about hip height. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, curl your knee in towards your nose, and we'll step that foot in between the hands for a low lunge. So remember, you can always use your hands to assist yourself to walk that foot up a little bit closer towards the top of the mat. Drop the back knee, untuck the toes, and as you inhale, reach the fingertips up to the sky. Breathe here. And think about squeezing the heel of the right foot and the top of the left leg together, activating that left hip flexor, giving it a nice stretch. Stay here, relax the shoulders. If hands at prayer feels better, go there. And then from here, whether your fingertips are lifted to the sky or not, take your right hand and just reach it down outside of the right thigh. Lift the left fingertips up and over the head. We're taking a side body lean, a lateral stretch, lengthening the left side of the body. Keep sinking into that right hip as you lean to the right. Keep breathing. And then we're gonna take this left hand all the way around, We're gonna hook the left elbow outside of the right thigh, bring the hands to prayer, and find a low lunge twist. Press the palms into one another. Maybe you make a fist with your left hand and press that right hand into your fist to twist open a little bit deeper. Every inhale lengthens your spine. Every exhale exaggerates that twist even more. One more full breath. And as you come back to center, we'll frame the right foot with the hands. I'm going to shorten my stance a little bit here. Get nice and strong through the hands. You can untuck those left toes if that feels better. And we're going to take that right leg all the way back into a tabletop position. So you might need to walk your hands underneath your shoulders. You have the option to just stay here. Feel that right leg growing nice and long. You can flex the foot or point the toes, whatever feels better. And really press the ground away from you. Pull the belly button in and up towards the spine. Now, if you want to take this to the next level, really ground down through all 5 fingers on the right hand. Take the left fingertips out in front of you. Get long. You'll feel your obliques start to power on here. And again, you can stay. You can hold in this stillness, or we'll take some bird dog crunches here. So as you inhale, you'll lengthen the fingers and the toes away from one another. And as you exhale, crunch the knee and the elbow together, meeting at center. Maybe they touch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. 1 more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. We'll lengthen 1 more time. You can stay here holding, challenging the core, or you can kick that right foot in towards the seat. Take your left arm around to grab the right foot and kick the foot into the hand. Opening the left shoulder, finding a little back bend. Remember, you can always take it down a notch. You can be here. You can be here. You can be here. Wherever you are, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now meet me here in this 3-legged tabletop position. Walk the hands slightly forward of the shoulders. Lift the hips, lift the right leg, and you're in a 3-legged dog. Now from here, maybe you open up that right hip, drawing some circles, lubricating the hip joint. Switch the direction of your circles. And we'll all meet back in our downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Let's take it to the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg just to hip height. Big breath in. Exhale, crunch the knee towards the nose and step the left foot in between the hands. Maybe use that left hand to assist. Drop the back knee, untuck the toes, and rise up for a low lunge. Ooh. Breathe here. Again, if you're feeling negative pain, any excess tension in the head, neck, or shoulders, you can always come down, hands at heart center. We're squeezing the left heel and the top of the right leg together, stretching that right hip flexor. 1 more full breath cycle. Now wherever you are, just let that left hand fall off to the left side, outside the left hip. Right fingertips reach up and over the head for a side body stretch. Lateral lean to the left, stretching out the right side body. Big breaths. One more inhale here. And as you exhale, maybe you bring it all the way around, hooking that right elbow outside the left thigh, bringing the hands to prayer and twisting to the left.
Same option as the other side. If you want to make a fist with that right hand, and then press the left hand into your fist, twist a little bit deeper. Will just help you with some leverage there. Inhaling to lengthen the spine, exhaling to twist deeper. One more full breath cycle. And then as you're ready, slowly start to unwind, planting the hands to frame the left foot. Again, I'm gonna switch up my stance a little bit here, walk my knee in closer, and then taking that left foot back to a tabletop position. Make sure your wrists are right underneath your elbows, which are right underneath your shoulders. You can untuck those, or rather tuck those right toes, and just send that left leg nice and long behind you. Breathe here. Find that activation of the core, the belly button in and up. Squeeze the inner thighs together. You have the option to stay here. You also have the option to take those right fingertips out. Again, this will really turn on your obliques. You can stay right here. You can take it back a step, or you can inhale to lengthen the fingers and the toes away from one another, and then exhale, crunch elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch, get really small. 3 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Seems that I can't count to 3, but I think this is the last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. And then inhale, lengthen once more. Again, hold. Maybe you kick your left foot to your seat. Maybe you take that right arm around and grab onto the left foot, kicking foot into hand. Breathe wherever you are, whether that's here, 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 or here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to where I am, back to this one-legged tabletop position. Walk the hands forward of the shoulders, lift the hips, lift the left leg, 3-legged dog. Open up that left hip, draw some big circles. And then switch directions. And as you're ready, we'll come back to our downward facing dog. And from your downward facing dog, take 3 breaths to reset. If you'd like, you can find a child's pose, sending the seat back towards the heels, reaching the arms long in front of you. Wherever you need to go to come back to your breath. Eventually, we will all meet back in our downward facing dog. And when you arrive, bring your right leg back up to the sky on an inhale. And on your exhale, step the right foot in between the hands, this time coming into a high crescent lunge. So my stance is pretty narrow here. If you take that right foot out a little bit further to the right, it might be easier to balance. Fingertips reach up to the sky. Again, if that's too much, hands can come to heart center. Focus on really pressing that left heel as if you're kicking it into a wall behind you. And from here, you want to make sure you have lots of space in front of you. We're coming into a warrior 3. So your hands can be at heart center, or they can be up over the head. Wherever they are, you're going to just start to lean forward, sending your weight into your right heel. So this will turn on your right glute. Breathe here, keep that belly button in. Torso is not touching the thigh. And then eventually we'll send all of our weight into our right foot, coming into a warrior three. Now I did not leave myself enough space, so I'm gonna take it back a little bit. There we go. And just find your balance in your warrior three. Again, this might be enough right here. Hugging the inner thighs together, pulling the belly button in and up. We're gonna find that same variation that we just found on hands and knees. So if you want, you can just let your left hand come down to the side, or you can keep it out in front of you. But we're gonna take the right fingertips out. Now this is really tricky. You're gonna take an inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, crunch elbow to knee. We're on one foot, so it's a little bit harder. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Two more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Your right leg should be on fire. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. And come back to your crescent lunge. Find your breath. Give that right leg a little rest. I'm gonna come back to the stance here. Take one inhale, and on your exhale, open up warrior two. Gaze over the right middle finger. Relax the shoulders. Make sure the shoulders are stacked right over the hips. Deep breaths. Two more here, just staying in stillness. One more breath. As you're ready, start to straighten the front leg and point the toes to face the long edge of the mat. We're setting up for goddess pose. So you want to walk your feet in a little bit closer together with the heels in and the toes out. Take an inhale, lift up the spine nice and tall, reach the crown of the head to the sky. You can bring your hands to your hips. And as you exhale, imagine that you're just sliding your back down a wall, sitting in a chair, opening up those knees. So if you look, you should be able to see your first two toes on both of your feet. You're pressing your knees out. Bring your hands to your thighs, close your eyes and just breathe. Again, notice any tension or chaos that this pose creates, and just breathe through it. Just let it be. And we'll find another twist, opening up through the shoulders. Press your right hand into your inner right thigh, dip your right shoulder down towards center, and gaze up and over your left shoulder. Maybe you take some rock side to side here, find a little bit of movement. And then we'll switch sides, press the left hand into the left inner thigh, dip the left shoulder down, look over the right shoulder. Any movement or stillness works perfectly. Let's do that one more time, each side. Right shoulder dips, look over the left shoulder. And then last side, left shoulder dips, look over the right shoulder. Sway side to side. And then come back through center, come all the way up to standing. Back to your warrior two, just for a breath. And then cartwheel the hands to frame the right foot. Step back to your high plank. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. You can always drop the knees. And then stay. Take a couple breaths here.
Relax the shoulders away from the ears. And then press the hands into the mat, press the tops of the feet into the mat.
Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog.
Breathe. When you're ready, we'll move to the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky.
Exhale, step it all the way through for a high crescent lunge. Again, widen your base if you need to stabilize. Hands to heart center, up to the sky. And just stay here, find your alignment. Press that right heel back behind you. And then once you find your breath, I'm gonna move back this time. We're gonna bring our hands to heart center, keep them up, whatever would feel better, you know where we're headed, and start to just hinge forward. Sending your weight into your left heel. This is gonna really turn on the left glute. Hug the belly button in, keep the torso off the left thigh, just let it hover. And take your time to make this transition, but eventually we are all meeting in a warrior three. When you arrive there, keep a micro bend in the left knee. Think about squeezing the inner thighs together, pulling the belly button in. And then I like to bring my right hand to my hip for this variation. Again, if this is enough, stay here. If you want more, take the left fingertips out in front of you. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, crunch elbow to knee. If you fall out of it, just come right back in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen as best you can. Exhale, crunch. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. And step back to your crescent lunge. Whew. Take a big breath. I'm gonna switch up my stance here. Deep breath in through the nose, maybe side out through the mouth. One more inhale. And then open up, warrior two. Don't worry so much about your alignment here. Just relax the shoulders and rest. Find your breath. One more full cycle. And then as you're ready, start to straighten through that front leg. Turn the toes to face the long edge of the mat once more. And then you can bring your hands to heart center, to your hips, or you can interlace them behind the back. Toes should be facing in, heels should be facing out. Take an inhale to lift up, and on your exhale, just start to fold. So if you're taking this shoulder opener variation with me, try and keep the heels of the hands touching the entire time. Keep the neck nice and long. If your hands are at your hips, maybe you keep the spine nice and long, really stretching out the hamstrings. Maybe you just let the hands fall heavy. Maybe you take a ragdoll position, bend the knees. Whatever feels good. So if you're in this shoulder opener variation, you'll take your inhale to come all the way up to standing all at once. Any other variation, you can stop halfway first and then come all the way up. Come back to your warrior two just for a breath. And then cartwheel the hands to frame the front foot. We'll meet back in our high plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale, lower all the way down. Remember, you can always drop the knees. Stay here for a breath. Rest your forehead on the mat. One more, nice and slow. And then when you inhale, come up to your baby cobra, little back bend. And exhale back to downward facing dog. And as soon as you get to downward facing dog, we'll just drop the knees, bring the big toes to touch, slight gap in the knees, and sink the hips back to the heels for a child's pose. And think back
back to those areas of tension that you identified in the body at the beginning of class. Areas where you were feeling tight. And notice how they feel now. Without any judgment, maybe it's different, maybe it's the same. Just take another breath or two here. Just giving enough time for the heart rate to kind of slow down as we start to wind down our practice. And the rest of the practice will be down on the mat. When you're ready, we're going to come onto our backs for a figure 4 stretch recline pigeon pose. So take your time to get there. Send the legs out in front of you. Just come all the way down to the back. And when you arrive, maybe you find a mini shavasana, just taking a nice big stretch. And then you'll plant the feet, knees reach up towards the sky. We'll start on the right side. So you're gonna take your left foot, you're gonna cross it over your right knee. This is step 1, home base, you can stay here. Maybe you gently press that left knee out. If you want a little bit more, maybe you grab behind the right thigh. Maybe you squeeze the right knee in towards the chest. And as you do that, keep pressing that left knee away from you. Even if you're not physically pressing it, just think about energetically pressing it away from you. I'm keeping a strong flex in my left foot here, protecting my knee. You can stay here. If you want even more, you can take those fingertips, interlace them on top of the right shin. That will intensify this even more. Keep pressing the left knee away and the right knee in. Just another breath or two wherever you are. Remember that if this gets to be too much, you can always go back to where you were before. You can always come back to this home base. And slowly start to come out of the pose the same way you came into it, eventually taking that left foot back down to the ground. Take a breath here at center. Take a moment to reset. And then when you're ready, we'll take it to the other side. Take that right foot, gently cross it over the left knee. Again, you can stay here, gently pressing the right knee away from you, keeping a flex in the right foot. If your body is asking for more, you can interlace the hands behind that left thigh and pull the left knee in as you press the right knee out. Still flexing that right foot. And feel this even deeper in my right hip. And then if you want even more, you'll interlace the hands on top of the left leg and keep pulling that left knee in, pressing right knee out. Wherever you chose to go, you are not married to that place. You can always go back to something else, something that might feel better today. Just one more full breath. And then gently bring the feet back down. Take a breath at center. Just allow everything to reset. And then hug the knees into the chest. We're gonna rock up to a seated position, taking a couple rocks on the spine. Maybe they gradually start to get bigger. Eventually, after about 3 or 4, we'll just come to a seated position at the top of the mat.
We'll end class here today, so if a seated position is not super comfortable in this moment, you can always find a traditional Shavasana lying down on your back. Wherever you are, keep your palms facing up. So whether you're lying down in Shavasana or resting the backs of the hands on the knees or the thighs. Keeping the palms up for acceptance, for receiving all that this new day, this new year has to offer. And as you sit or lie here in stillness, just begin to watch your breath. Watch your inhales move through your body. Watch your exhales release tension from the body. Release any unnecessary thoughts. And imagine there's a small bright light right at the center of your chest. And as your breath gets bigger, imagine that with each exhale, that light expands. Eventually, it starts to take over all of the space in your body, spreading light and warmth. Our palms are open. We're receiving that light and warmth as it comes to us. Just a couple more breaths here. Feel the body get lighter. Feel the shoulders melt down the back. And when you're ready, take your hands to heart center and bow in gratitude for your practice. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you everyone for practicing with me. Please leave a comment below. Let me know how you liked class, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for free yoga every week. Feel free to let me know what you want to see next time, and I hope you have an awesome week. Bye.